friends, welcome back to Sunflower Hill. This is part 2 of the tour. If you haven't seen part 1, maybe go check that out. If I can figure out how to do it, I'll link it there or there, wherever it goes. Let's go and have a look at the rest of my place. Okay, third time lucky or fourth time lucky. I actually filmed this yesterday, and unfortunately what happened was that I went all the way around and I showed you the Emporium, which is super special, and you're about to investigate the Emporium with me. And I went all the way around the front and I found Gracie. It was so cute and so funny, and then I realized that the phone camera had been off. So that was a bit of a bust. So what we're going to do is redo that today. This behind me is where we've looked, and in front of us is where we're going. So I'm going to do a pan around so you get an idea of where we are. Okay, we are back. So that was the backyard. We've looked through there, and there's my washing on the line. So there's the bus over there, and the little swimming pool that I'm in the making. I don't think that came out either. So this area here, we'll go back because, I don't think that came out. I think what the last thing was the kids filming their garden, my son filming the kids' gardens. So this is the back of the house. It all looks a bit hairy at the moment, needs a mow. So there's the kids' gardens again, and there's the bus. The bus has been here since I moved in, so it was part of the place. It was the only bit of rubbish I actually wanted. It was good, wasn't it? He's going to keep yelling at us, I think. So we just have a quick look inside, because what I did with the bus was absolutely chock-a-block with rubbish. I mean, an entire household. There was a household worth of goods in there, a deceased person, and unfortunately it had just been left in here and it was all wrecked. Entire household worth of stuff was wrecked, so that was a massive clean-up job. Oh, what's happened at the back there? My bus is falling apart. No, this is I'll go and see what that is. That doesn't look very good. Anyway, I have some plants growing in here at the moment. Mainly it's a hothouse, as you can see. I had a guy come and cut the roof off the bus, which is not something I'm prepared to tackle myself. Well, certainly wasn't at the time. And he put in a roof, which was fabulous, a clear roof. However, I do need to do some modifications. I need to put a different type of plastic cladding up there that's not completely see-through, and I need to insulate it. But at the moment I can grow things like this. So just some plants to sell, just some of my propagations I grow on in here, and there's an orchid. Some things are just not sufficiently hardy in my climate, so I grow them in here and I get things started. This is a little baby bay tree, very slow growing, and some things. This is from last year. These boysenberries, boysenberry propagations. Anything that's still good, I'll chop back, and that'll regrow and be even stronger in spring. Anything that's no good, I will chuck and dig up more, because there's thousands of them. Okay, so that's my bus, and I do love my bus. Just needs a bit of work. It's fantastic. It's my bus house. It is a hot house. And look at this. I have such trouble with citrus. Oh, citrus. It is the bane of my growing world. And this guy here is a date palm, grown from a date seed. It's amazing what grows if you just chuck the seeds of things you're eating. And this is not the only one. I have 3 or 4 of them that have just grown from seeds randomly. So that's pretty cool. Okay, looks like a mess. It's actually not. It looks terrible in the video. It's actually not. It's actually not in real life as bad as it looks. All right, we'll leave that door open and come around here. And this is just gorgeous. I just love this. This is a it's an acacia Baileana purpurea, and it's just so beautiful. The foliage is stunning, and it does have yellow flowers as well, which, oh, the flowers and the foliage, you can see it has that glaucous coloration I was showing you before on the on that eucalyptus or gunnii. The gunnii have that too, but the cinerea, but it has this glaucous coloration, but it's really blue, and at the growing tips it's quite purple. So it's a really pretty tree.
Nice plant.
Yeah, nice plant. I'm going to grow some more of those. So then this is closed, to get the geese out. And this gate should be shut. There's nothing in here at the moment, but it should be shut anyway. You going to come round? Thanks, doll. So this is the round garden from the other side, and this is my back paddock. It goes over that hill a bit, and it goes to the tin fence there, which is under construction. Like that, you can see that tin fence is being built at the moment, which is super exciting. That's the south, and if nothing else, that fence is an amazing protection from the wind. But I have had the neighbours' cattle jump in here in the past, and you know, it would just be a nightmare if I had 200-300 cattle come in here and eat everything. So that fence is absolutely, and because the boundary fence, the wire boundary fence there is pretty crappy, and they can get in pretty easily.
Sheep got through it.
Yeah, and I've lost sheep down the back as well. Had a neighbour's dog come in and chase them. So basically, big tin fence solve all the problems. So that's the back paddock. It needs trees, it needs more fencing. It's a work in progress like everything else. And there's some kites or some kind of birds of prey up there. I don't know if you can see them, but they are chicken killers. Chicken killers you are. So on that note, let's have a look up here at the main chicken area. This is my chicken emporium, and this is what I've always planned to do, have a chicken emporium. This has been the grand idea. It's basically a multi-run seasonal growing area, involving the chooks as part of the growing process. So very quickly, let's just have a look here, and I know that's a total tease. Got some trees in here. We've got some hazelnuts, which is starting to do well. Nice little hazelnuts. Yeah, it needs a bit of weeding. It's not too bad. There's actually a lot of mulch underneath there. It's better than it looks. And my poor cherry trees, they've really been hit by that cherry slug really hard. They grew well this year. They even produced a bit of fruit, but the cherry slug really destroys them. This fig, on the other hand, is thriving, and I love figs. I love the fruit, I love eating it, I love the trees. They're such beautiful trees. These big, shiny, gorgeous leaves. And it does have fruit on it. I suspect it might be brebas now. I don't know if they're summer fruit that's too late in the season, or whether they're brebas that will sit there over winter and then ripen in spring. I'm hoping for brebas, but you know, we'll see. Anyway, the fruit off this is really, we have had some fruit, haven't we, Doll?
Yep.
And it's delicious. It's really good. And this guy is the sort of cat who follows you around. And here is the top of the chicken emporium. So this is the shed that they nest in, and attached to that is the secure run. And I'll give you a proper tour one day. I'll do a video tour of the emporium itself, but just as part of the welcome to my Sunflower Hill place, you do need to see that I have a chicken emporium. This took 2 years to build, and yeah, it was huge, but it's proven to be an amazing space, really versatile. Really, my plan was to go hard, and still is, to go hard and get structures done, so that I'm not having to, I don't like chicken tractors very much. I don't like the idea of moving them. I don't like the idea of building them. I don't like the constant maintenance. They suit some people in some situations really, really well. I don't dislike chicken tractors per se, but for me, just way too much ongoing work and risks, because making them predator proof yet at the same time able to fulfill their function of letting the chickens work the ground is not easy. They have to have a bit of weight to them to be predator proof. And this system, once it was built, has just become the best, because I can just go and open gates like this. So this in here is a short polytunnel that I made on the end of it. Again, I'll do a separate video about this. Now I'm going to show you the rest of these runs. This is the winter growing run, which we've just started up. This is some self-seeded silver beet. Just beautiful. I mean, look at it. Absolutely beautiful. It's growing in chook poo. Why wouldn't it be beautiful? It's immense. I mean, you know, it's, yeah, beautiful stuff and really delicious.
Beetroot?
It's actually all chard. It's all silver beet. But when it's coloured like this, they call it chard. It's called rainbow chard when it has these colours. But it's the same thing. It's silver beet. But this is pretty cool. It's planted a bit of a, you know, a selection of colours. So we've got this green one here, and then we've got the pink stemmed one, and then we've got another green one, and then we've got this red stemmed one. So colourful little display. And the guinea fowl helpfully sleep up there and poo all down here, and that goes straight in there to grow these guys. So it grows well. This run here is just for the chooks. I thought I'd need 4 or 5 runs, but I really just don't. This is the netting that I've used to cover the roof. Again, if people are interested, I can do a how I made this, but unless you have land like I do, you probably would be looking at something smaller. But this basic idea, this basic construct can be, you know, if you've got a backyard, you can do a multi-run system of incorporating chickens and food growing and making it easy for yourself. So I think it's an idea with merit. Now, hello gompies. There's the gompies. This is my summer food run, and this again is a system I figured out to let the cats in here. It's I'm going to make a video about rats and mice and cats, but that's my system, and it stops the rats destroying my crops, which otherwise they really do. Okay, so we've got tomatoes. Quick little tour. These are Rizamonte tomatoes, and it's the first time they've actually grown, so I'm pretty chuffed about that. They're weird lumpy things, but they're kind of cool and funny, aren't they? And around here, this one is ripening. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. They're kind of funny. I don't know how they grow like that. It's obviously a genetic mutation, but whether it's multiple tomatoes sort of growing together, or whether it's the one that divides up like that, I don't know. All right, and lots of cucumbers still going happily here in mid-autumn. Still getting heaps of cucumbers and more. They're doing a lot better than they did over summer. They did very poorly over summer. Everything did, but that's a story for another day. We've got carrots, and it looks a bit of a mess, but there's a lot of carrots under there. Where are you, little carrots? Right down there. Yeah, there's carrots up there. We've been eating carrots and carrots and carrots. They're so delicious. I'll do a video on how I plant them too. Some nasturtiums here, also edible, but just really beautiful. Really nice to have around. More carrots, and carrots going to seed. Carrots going to seed attracts pollinators, and you get carrot seeds at the end of it. So win-win. All of these carrots are grown from from saved seed from carrots in previous years. And the zucchinis, I'm not going to go through there.
We had a few volunteer carrots the year before.
Yeah, we did have, we've got a lot of volunteer carrots this year. Anyway, more tomatoes and zucchinis. So that's looking pretty good. Okay, so that was the Emporium. We're going to have a closer look at one of the runs in a minute. It's 20 metres long by 18 metres wide. You could easily do something scaled way down for a backyard. You know, you could do something that's 5 metres long by 2 metres wide with 2 runs and just 3 or 4 chickens. So the system basically works whatever scale you do it on. And here is my orchard. This has been the main things that have grown so far are these black wattles, but they're really great for shade and shelter. They're really good pioneer trees, and in amongst them we have this, which is a bit hard to see in the shade, this apricot tree, which is from a friend who grew it from seed. And then we have another apricot tree here. We have some guamps, yelling, hi guamps. There's a mulberry tree down here. There's some dog diggings. Evidence of wildlife. This little mulberry tree here is actually fruiting at the moment. So this is the first year the mulberries have actually produced fruit. And there's a white, oh God, I knocked it off. Oh dear. There's a white one out the front which produced a ton of the sweetest fruit I've ever tasted. Absolutely insane. I'm not one to waste things. I'm going to get that berry. God, is that worth it? Okay, here's the berry that fell. That was worth the effort. Really sour. Okay.
Oh, God.
So, the rest of the orchard. There's not that many orchard trees in it yet. And let's come around here. Again, the wonderful fence that blocks off that south wind. So it blocks off all that cold wind in winter. Oh yes, and here's my latest propagation. This dog propagation. I'm growing dogs over here under the trees. Quite a good climate for dogs. This one's growing quite well. I planted it fairly recently and it's growing already, so that's doing quite well. And this is a red gum. Beautiful tree with beautiful beautiful printable leaves if you're into eco printing. And we'll let this dog propagation grow. Oh look, it's growing. Look at it. Very actively growing. Alright, we finally made it round the front of the house. This is this was the chook pen. This pen was originally here and this was the chook's first home. It had a fence around it and it was turned into a veggie garden, or I turned it into a veggie garden when I finished building the Emporium, and we moved the chickens out of here and up into the Emporium. It's gone through a few iterations. It was a fantastic veggie garden, very rich and fertile, but we've had snakes, so I just got the fence out and have cleared it all. So this is just going to be mown now, and it's actually nicer. There's my mulberry trees. This is a black mulberry and it did fruit this year. Very nice fruit indeed. And purple potatoes here. Love these guys. Just quietly do their own thing. It's actually quite nice to have them near the house. And purple potatoes down there doing their thing. And it's a nice evening. So this pen is now my hospital pen. It's just used for, well, hospital slash nursery. These guys with their babies. Yeah, woo woo. Alright, now let's go around back to where we started, and I'll get my son to come and do some filming. This is where we started. So right near the house here, there's the duck orchard. Another door made from a door. So let's go in. So this is the ducks in the duck orchard, and it's an orchard in progress again. These silver birches here I planted. There's a heap of them here, and then there's more along up that way. They're just beautiful trees, and they provide shelter. You know, the ducks have got a really nice environment here now. The reason I have ducks is, well, the initial reason was to provide eggs over winter. They're not really that great at doing that, but they are really good at fertilizing down under these trees. So they poo, and the poo goes into the soil and, you know, fertilizes the trees. So it's a really good way of, also they keep the weeds down to very little or nothing around these trees. So
you can tell?
Yeah, it's a really good combination. You do need guards if you're going to put ducks or chickens in with your trees. You need guards around them. The ducks completely ring-barked these trees when they were young, just ate the bark off the tree and nearly killed them, but they're coming good. So this area has been slightly neglected. All the apple trees in here are from a friend, and they are heritage apples that friend grafted onto rootstock. Now, oh yeah, that's beautiful new growth. So they're coming good, but they were in a very neglected part of the garden. So there was a garden bed along here. That's all been pulled out as well because of the snake. So this is all quite recent. I've let the ducks get in and eat everything. There are things in there that I probably wanted to keep, but not enough to put up with tiger snakes. This tree has been quite damaged, as you can see, by environmental conditions that it just didn't like, and by improper planting, and it gets very, very wet down here over winter. This is another dye plant, like madder. It's a traditional dye. It produces yellow dye for fabric. Here is another Cape gooseberry. This whole area here, was the kids' gardens for a couple of years, but it gets so wet in winter here that it was not viable to keep going with it. Get flooded in winter, and then I'd have to let it go, and the kids too. We'd have to let it go because you can't work soil when it's flooded. You have to wait until it dries out a bit, otherwise you really destroy the soil structure. Look, it hasn't been a great summer for any of the veggies. Autumn's much better. It was a very, very, very long, wet, cold spring. Nothing got started. I've got this little pumpkin here. Look how small. And a couple of others, but this area has really just absolutely fizzled this year. For the last 2 years, I've had 4 barrow loads of pumpkins from this area.
Your barrow is big.
It's a big barrow. It's a pull along one. It's not a little, you know, pissy little one. It's a big one. And this year, hardly anything, maybe 4 or 5 pumpkins by the time it finishes, which is not enough to get through winter at all. So it's made me rethink a few things. By the same token, you know, there's still things happening. This is I don't know, pumpkin? Zucchini of some kind? Pumpkin, I think. It is still, they're still producing pumpkins, but the weather won't give them long enough to finish those off.
It'll just be minuscule.
Yeah. I've had corn and pumpkins and all sorts of things in here. I did this garden by just spreading straw and poo from the duck house up there over a couple of years, and so it's very, very fertile. There's a couple of things I'm happy about. One is that I planted buckwheat at the start of the season, and this is not it. Why is that a success? Because this is self-seeded buckwheat from the buckwheat I initially grew. That's how successful it was. So it was fantastic. And this is the seed. The unsuccessful bit is that I didn't get out and harvest it. But this, look at this fellow. Now you'd think, yeah, it's just a not even that attractive pumpkin, but it's more than that. It's actually a Styrian hull-less pumpkin. So what this means is that the seeds inside there are ready to eat. It means that this grows pepitas. The other pretty cool thing, these self-seeded tomatoes, they're always winners. That's why they're out here. It's why they're sprawling and just all over the place, why they're growing out of the path, because they're just self-seeded. And what are these geese doing here? They're eating her dinner. No, they've got to go. I need to go fix this. Look at them, chasing her off. That's not cool. There, you eat your dinner, you poor old thing. Glad I noticed that. So the self-seeded, got to do what you got to do. Self-seeded tomatoes are always winners. I just reckon if something's going to grow somewhere and it's going to grow me food, I'm not going to say no. So I just let them go. At the end of the summer, I open this little door here, which they're all waiting impatiently at. You know, don't you? You know you're going to be released into this lush paradise. And yeah, and then I'll just let them out here and they will eat all of this, eat all the weeds, eat all the bugs, scratch it all up, poo in there and make it ready for next year. Which pretty much brings us to the end of my tour. That's about it really. I'm back to Lord Montague and his ladies. So I am thinking of everybody in apartments and flats and built places like that where you can't have an outdoor garden. I have an experiment going inside. I have lots of indoor plants and I will do some indoor food growing just for people living in flats and apartments and stuff, just to give you some ideas of things that can grow inside and how you can do that. My house is not really very well built for growing houses. I'll grow houses inside my house. For growing plants inside the house because I don't have any north-facing windows and I have a lack of windows altogether. So I do use grow lights. They're a good option. They're actually very, very efficient. I actually don't notice them on my power bill at all. I'll do another second introduction tour of my house plants and I will do plenty of videos on ideas for indoor growing as of food and of houseplants, as well as my outdoor stuff. All right, it's been an absolute joy sharing this with you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in and I really hope to see you here again. I'd love it if you could subscribe because I'm just getting going and that would just be so helpful to me, and it means that you can know when I post more videos, and there'll be heaps and they'll be exciting. I promise they'll be really cool. So if you don't mind subscribing and liking the videos, that would be just wonderful. That'll help me get going. All right, thank you all very much and see you soon. Hooroo! And just a special treat, here's some of my creatures. See ya.